Why men or why women cheat. Hello y'all, I'm Diana Brianne. Well, I've done other videos on this subject. In the past, it's been a while, and I got to thinking about why do people cheat. And I think that when someone cheats in a marriage, they're cheating for their own benefit. They're not cheating for the benefit of the marriage. And often for some people, it's a way of escape. It's a way of escape of day-to-day life. It's a way of escaping their problems. Some people, men or women, cheat habitually. They do it over and over, and they're chronic cheaters. There's other people that maybe have only cheated once. Any kind of cheating is awful, in my opinion. Is it recoverable? I believe in many situations it's recoverable. I think if forgiveness takes place, true remorse and forgiveness and the break off of the relationships that they were into that weren't right, and if the marriage was right in the first place, and if the two people are willing to work at that marriage, and it will be a lot of hard work most of the time if someone has cheated in that marriage, to save the marriage and then to rebuild the marriage and then to make the marriage great again. But it can happen. And so a lot of people throw their marriages away because cheating has taken place. And I think people need to think long and hard before they do that, especially when they have children or families involved. It just depends upon the situation. Is this person a chronic cheater, or did this just happen in a time of weakness or difficulty? But I think most of the time, if someone's going to cheat, they had it in their mind long before they actually did it. They were just looking for the right opportunity. Sometimes workplace cheating goes on. You know, people get very close and chummy at work. I notice that the smart, good marriages don't get chummy with people of the opposite sex on a personal level, because, especially in the work environment, because it can often lead to things like affairs and things like that. And so people cheat for different reasons. Sometimes people just are chronic cheaters. They have this emotional void that's there, and no one person can fill that up. Other people have cheated because maybe their marriage was going through a difficult time, or maybe they themselves were going through a midlife crisis. I truly believe that in most situations, it's not about the person they're married to that they're cheating on. It's about them, what they're going through. And yet often they'll try to blame the person that they're married to for causing them to cheat. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. And they'll justify it, blame, or minimize it. And I believe that when a person truly is remorseful and they truly are apologetic, they should not minimize it. They should not try to blame someone else for it, and they should not try to justify it. They can explain it to some degree, but they should not try to justify it, because then that takes the value of the apology away and the sincerity of the apology. And for a marriage to work, they have to truly be remorseful and be willing to turn that marriage around and start fresh and start new. And sometimes the person's been cheated on just cannot forgive. They just won't forgive. And so instead, they dismantle the marriage, so to speak. They break up, they divorce, they go their separate ways. Other people decide, to stay in the marriage, but they don't rebuild. They just are miserable after it took place, and it's a miserable relationship. And then there's other people that decide to save the marriage, and they begin to work on the marriage, and they begin to rebuild the marriage, and then they turn it into a great marriage again, or maybe even a better marriage than ever. But people cheat for a lot of different reasons, but it rarely has to do with the person they're cheating on. It has to do with what's going on in their own life. And sometimes it can be a midlife crisis. I think that there's a time in life where people start to say, well, there's got to be more than this. I'm getting old now. Suddenly, the hands of time are, ticking, and they're looking at their life, and many of the things they wanted to do, they've already done, and yet they feel like there's things that maybe they can't do with this one person, so they decide to go out and cheat, or they decide to leave their spouse because they think there's something more out there, and only later they often regret that because, well, You know, even if they find what they're looking for, they still often regret that because it was unnecessary to cheat or to leave their spouse to accomplish those things. As we build a relationship, we grow together, we grow into each other, we begin to grow together through the years. And we build a strong, solid foundation that can weather storms, that can weather difficulties, and hopefully never lead to affairs. I think the worst thing to see, though, is someone blaming the partner that they cheated on for them cheating, because usually that is not the situation. You know, marriage is very different than being single. You know, being single, you're seeing things through rose-colored glasses. When you're married, you're seeing the person day to day. They have problems, you have problems together. You're building a life together. You're sharing in each other's problems as well as each other's joys. And a lot of times people just want the joy and none of the, you know, they don't want to deal with all the other stuff. And so that's, in part, they think that maybe they're missing out on something, that other people don't have problems, so they'll go find someone else that doesn't have problems. But everybody has problems at some point. And in a relationship, people go through things, and they go through them stronger and better together than apart. And a lot of people go into marriage with rose-colored glasses, and I think that that, you know, that they think that they'll never have any problems, or they see a shift in, you know, maybe they're not, they don't have that heated passion that they did the first month that they met somebody. Now things have evened out, but that's when a real relationship begins, the deeper part of the relationship. Marriages go through seasons, and they're all equally wonderful, and yet they're all different. And my aunt once told me, she said, you know, people are most often very happy they stayed together in their olden years because they really need each other then. There's a time of need, and that can often happen in the olden years, and a lot of people are left standing alone because they made a choice to break up. So there are times that people maybe should break up, and, you know, depends on the situation, but I think often there are more times that people should stay together. And so we have to look at every individual situation as being different. So why do men cheat? Why do women cheat? It can be a whole lot of reasons, but it tends to always come back to the person who's doing the cheating, not the person that's being cheated on. Okay? Well, from my house to yours, and God bless you. I hope you like, share, subscribe, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.